Joining me now is Mike Garbutt, the President and CEO of Clean Air Metals. Thanks for coming in. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Now, you've only been in this role for a little while. You've gone from COO, which you did for a couple of years, to CEO. And the former CEO, Jim Gallagher, whom we've spoken to before, he becomes non-executive chair. So was the succession plan in place for a while? And how would you say it's early days, but how's the transition going?
Yeah, so when I joined approximately 2 years ago, the plan was at some point that I would move into the CEO role. And I guess the conversation started to accelerate a little more over the past year or so. And then, recently we had the announcement at the end of May that I'd be moving into the role, and here I am 3 weeks into it. I guess the best term to use, it's seamless. Notwithstanding, there are certain challenges in the market, but I'm ready to take them on, full force.
Right, and we'll get to some of those challenges in just a moment. So when we did talk to Jim, he gave us a nice overview of the assets in the Thunder Bay region, palladium, platinum, and the overall strategy. Let's hear it from you. Could you give us a snapshot?
Yeah, so our claims cover about 300 square kilometers, about 50 kilometers northeast of Thunder Bay. And on those claims, we have actually 5 total intrusions, and 3 of them we really don't talk about, but they're a 025 intrusion in Lone Island Lake, north and south. Historically, there's been some work done on them. We have not done any work, but we have recently put in an exploration permit to do a bit of work, follow-up work on those intrusions. But the 2 main intrusions that make up our project are the escape deposit and the current deposit. Combined, those make up 14 million tons of inferred resource at about 2.4 million equivalent platinum ounces. Now, there's not only platinum, palladium, they occur on a 1-to-1 ratio, but we also have copper and nickel, which we don't really talk about very often, and gold and silver in payable amounts. So, that makes up the main part of our strategy. What we want to do overall is, because of these markets, we want to be put ourselves in a good position to when the markets recover, in particular for PGEs, we want to be in good position to advance this project.
Right. Now, with the escape deposit, you said you'd like to do a modest drill program, go deeper, prove it out. Can you elaborate on that? This is a summer program, probably?
Well, so the escape deposit, hosts about 5.8 million tons, but there's a down plunge portion that extends below 500 meters, so still not very deep, particularly those that have been in the Sudbury Basin. There's mines significantly deeper, but we believe it's the best opportunity to expand the resource within the project. So it's about a 2.4 kilometer magnetic anomaly that has been identified, and we've looked at other data, magnetic inversions and historical MT data, trying to refine that, because that's a big target to drill for a company of our size. And what we've landed on is this fall we're going to do a passive seismic survey, which is a technique that was used by other people in the Mid-Continent Rift area in northwestern Ontario. That'll help us better define the chronolith, the peridotite, which generally hosts the mineralized material. So if we can define that better, that'll help us with our targeting, and then we'll proceed with a modest drill program and some downhole geophysics to see what's down there.
Mike, you've also said that the company is trying to be opportunistic in this current environment to just look at other potential assets. So can you give us a sense of the types of claims packages and the resources that you're considering in the area?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying, we are very bullish in PGEs. There's a really good story for platinum, the hydrogen economy, and even for palladium with plug-in hybrid vehicles. And there's a widening gap, a supply gap for both of those. And so we feel very strongly that there's a good time for those. And I think right now in the market, we've seen the opportunity at the beginning of the year to really start looking to expand our portfolio and look at some assets that might fit complementary with Thunder Bay North. Now, we've probably reviewed 100 different assets and so far have not posed a transaction yet. But we continue the search. We are looking, from a wide range, from early exploration to shovel ready. Clearly with our market cap, probably not in the shovel ready area, but nonetheless, we believe there are some good assets we could pull the trigger on, and we just need to do a little more work and continue the search.
Right. Okay. And so, from a financial standpoint, at last report, Clean Air is sitting on nearly $6 million. Can you give us a sense of how the company is cashed up in terms of the current environment and being positioned to for an eventual upturn, as you talk about, and taking part in the energy transition?
Yeah, so we've went through a process, and unfortunately we've downsized the team somewhat, but we've managed to maintain a core team that was brought on board to actually develop this asset. And so, when you say maybe to weather things out, I think now's the time we want to actually move the project forward in a meaningful but fiscally responsible way. That could be through an advanced exploration program, with some early permitting for early works and a revised PEA. So I think those items will put us in a better position when the market upturns, as opposed to really sitting back and just waiting for things to happen.
Right. When we talked to Jim, it was in March, he said he's been around a long time, 25 plus years. He said he's never seen a market where investor interest and financing were just, not grim's not the word, but just as tough as they are. How would you describe the market, and when do you foresee some more rays of light and an upturn?
So interestingly, you said, I joined the company in May of 2002, and this is the environment I've been in since joining. But nonetheless, you need to be optimistic. And if I look out there, there's money. It's going to uranium juniors, and there's some interest in copper. But I really feel that investors will react to a really good, credible development story, regardless of the commodity. And I believe that if we do the right work over this period of time, that we can generate some interest and in spite of market conditions, really recover as a company.
So you have a lot of experience, Mike, in the mining sector. 14 years at Glencore. You were at IAMGOLD. I'm just curious what you think you're bringing to the table in terms of your skill set and a leadership style, and do you have a sort of an overall vision here, which you've been hinting at?
Yeah, so with my experience, I spent time at Falconbridge and the Polish miner KGHM, did some consulting, and like you said, IAMGOLD. I think none of the technical experience you have really, helps move a project forward. What I found and what I've learned being part of projects is that you really need to be entrepreneurial. Bring that entrepreneurial spirit, take some calculated risks, calculated smart risks, as I like to call it. And if you have a team that's willing to do that on a regular basis, and maybe they fall down once in a while, but that creates some resiliency. And if I believe I truly believe we have a resilient team, and if we could create that culture, we'll set ourselves up for success in spite of everyone's great technical background.
Right. And bring it all home for us now, if you could, in terms of summarizing everything you've been saying, the investment case. Investors have a lot of options out there, obviously. The investment case for clean air metals.
Yeah, so recognizing it is a bit of a tough market, but I think our asset being one of the few primary platinum plays, the outlook for platinum is really good with the hydrogen economy, so I encourage people to have a look at that and do some research with plug-in hybrids, increasing their percentage of the automobile. I think we're one of the few ready now projects in the province, and not only platinum, but we also have palladium, copper, nickel. So multi-asset or multi-commodity projects are able to weather cycles, right? So we get this thing built, it's going to weather a whole bunch of up and down market turns. And then the last thing, as I mentioned, we have the right team. We're a resilient group, and you'll see some interesting things from us in the near future.
Okay, we'll be watching. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much.
All right, good stuff. Mike Garbutt, President and CEO at Clean Air Metals.